Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be a little peppery, a little salty, a little spicy, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi!
Woo wee, you guys. So today we have 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 7, Episode 18, The Tell All, No Limits, Part 1 of 4.
Honey, they really did have no limits on our patience and on our time. They were like, these people have all of January. Honey, they have nothing to do but just 4-part 2 day. They're so proud of what they've done. They are just like, look, guys, this is the craziest fucking thing we've ever fucking done. Sit down. This is what we're going to do. We're going to record them like all the time. Like all the time. Like for 2 days, we're going to keep showing you they're staying at the Time New York. Time New York did this all for free. Time New York, where you can stay in the middle of fucking Times Square and just be on the likes of 90 Day Fiance reality stars. That's the brand they chose to like cement. God bless. Anyway, so yeah, it's
Happy
like
New
them
Year!
hanging out and having the lobby and having the backstage experience and having the actual tell-all experience. Not just the old tell-all and backstage. They're like, and we're gonna go back and have pre and post and every fucking thing. Okay.
Happy New Year, everyone. We
Oh,
have
sorry.
made it to 2023. Aren't you glad? And we have a full, just the first tell all for all of January. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Just the tell all, the first month of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. What a screaming start to a blistering 2023. I mean, like, it had everything: jewel tones, it had surprise guests, it had fights, it had it had the messiness that I guess they wanted to lean into, because I think what they always knew, which was awkward, which was having people who never really come in contact just suddenly show up to a place and then just judge each other because they watched the show. And like, now they can kind of lean into, well, what happened last tell all, because you've seen each other in real life. And also, we're going to set you up on these friend dates that we're going to record that are not part of the tell all. The friend dates and or frenemy dates are LO fucking L.
And I'm going to say it every single time. Who is watching the actual tell all where all they see is Sean Robinson say, "Hey, welcome to it," and there's no other extracurricular? Like, the days of that tell all are old. They have taken it to the point where I'm like, why even set up the ruse of recording anything or filming this event? Like, is this is what is aired in the Philippines? Like, where is it that it is not the extra stuff that we see? Anyways, I really do hope that they're getting paid for this 4-day nonsense. Like, I really do hope that within the contract, because as we know, I think all the cast members get paid different things, number one. I also, we know that they get paid per episode, and it's not a lot. These people are not walking away with like $40,000 after being filmed for 4 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is, right? So I'm like, but how did they negotiate? And like, did Angela Dean's team negotiate her to make the most? Because I know we didn't talk about her during the season, y'all, but we have to talk about her in the tell all, because she, annoyingly enough, brings a lot of the drama and the fun and the nonsense that occurs.
Yes. Now,
So
oh, yes.
go ahead.
So a lot of the 90 day, and this is where you're hearing just the juiciest goss, because I'll give it to you. Well, not goss, but like, this is like a little mild deep dive. A lot of the cast members of 90 Day Fiance have the same manager, Dominion Talent. So if you ever see on their profiles, that's what that is. I'm gonna go see. Now, Angela does not have Dominion Talent on her profile. She has a business manager that she has tagged hashtag managed clout. And managed clout is an Instagram that totes itself as exclusive business manager representing the best reality talent on TV, athletes, musicians, influencers, and entertainers. And it's somebody named Tonia Ryan, celebrity manager. And Dominion. Oh, maybe it is Dominion. So it is. She is. Sorry, it's just the way that they said it. Yeah. This Dominique is like this Dominion talent lady, just like represents all of them. I've actually met her before. She seems like she is a real hustler and go-getter.
Well, I
Like
hope that
she's
she's
getting
given
it,
them all their money. I hope that they are getting absolutely paid for the
She
nonsense that they have been put through.
I think that she mostly manages their career outside of the actual shooting of the show. I think that I don't know if she, these lovely people, are still not, they're not actors
Wait,
and actresses.
what lovely people?
Mhm. I'm getting there. These people on the show and however they are not actors and actresses. They don't have agents and managers that like can like negotiate their contract every year like they're a series regular.
Well, Libby, I mean, isn't she a is she an actress? She was in that one Hallmark movie, remember? And then she was in that one Christian movie, and don't forget her lullaby career.
Literally, I think the probably the person with the IMDb star meter the most, not from being on the show, would have probably been that guy that's in prison. Remember that he was a reenactment actor? Greg?
Jeffrey?
But Varia? Yeah, Jeffrey and Varia.
Joffrey?
Yeah, I remember he had done like some like reenactment stuff. I mean, or you can count Angela's, like Maury Povich appearance as being
Mhm,
like TV, but
mhm.
no, I mean, so
You can count
Angela,
Natalie and her acting and her journalism.
okay. It's interesting. Like you see other reality people go on the other reality shows, right? What have you seen Angela and or Darcy and or Chantel, the biggest stars of the universe, they are not on Dancing with the Stars. They're not on Love and Rehab or Love or whatever, like or any of the like rehabs or whatever. They're not allowed to do like any other things. TLC's contract is beyond what like other people it is they have it on lock. So I don't think they have the bargaining power. Angela could say, I don't want to do it, and they're gonna give her money because she knows he wants it, but at some point, like, it isn't like Angela would either be with him or not be with him at all. That's what
Okay.
happened to Larissa. Larissa went against her contract, and they were like, "Nope."
Wow. I mean, yeah, she did other things. Okay, so let's jump right in. I mean, 72 hours until the tell all. We are in Angela's closet. And is it a closet indeed? You this is a lot of people's closets. So I don't want to initially shit on it because it it might be my closet because I just moved, but everything is in Tupperwares in mine. I just hate
What?
the hangers. I hate the hangers so much, and
Mhm.
I just want them to be at least be straight. I feel like if you know company is coming, clean your house.
Oh, babe. Yeah, she's not the culture that would. Like, no. That's yeah. Nope. I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. That's the ideal way. Like ideally, yes. But I'm not surprised that is what her closet looks like. I'm not surprised that when we go into her room
Oh,
a little
I
bit
can show you
later.
that too. This is like knick knack, patty whack, give a dog a bone. Like, why does she have those fake red, white, and blue roses in the back? And that green thing, we can only see the bottom of it. You might think of it as like black and like a little green and a little yellow. That is a picture of some Nigerian woman in
Yes,
Nigerian garb. Just
yes.
like
Yes, like a guru. It looked like, you know how, like, sometimes, like, you have, like, guru pictures or something? Like,
yeah,
and or is it, like, Michael's grandmother? I'm not quite sure.
yeah.
All of that, her purses are on the wall, like, just, like, as if there was a push button into the wall and then just, like, the string of a purse just hanging there. I mean, yeah, she is having this really stupid scene where she is in the closet FaceTiming her grandkids, being like, I'm gonna see Michael. Michael's always doing things, and Meemaw's gonna show her Meemaw energy. And the kids are like, no, no, Meemaw, like hold back, don't pull out like how fucking crazy you are. She's like, he don't know Meemaw until like Meemaw brings it out. And I was like, I think Michael knows your energy. Your last scene was like you just flying out like a batshit crazy person to like 21 hours in Nigeria and then just showing up and like twiddling his car. And for some reason, the man like grabbed you back, which is why we don't actually talk about them. But it's hard not to talk about mild. Okay, so obviously, as Wah loves me to bring up, we've not talked about two couples the entire season, right? We haven't. Except on the tell-all, it's a little hard not to talk about them because now everyone's in a fucking mishmash, okay? Like, now everything is everything. So, everything's
Everything is everything
everything.
like Lauryn Hill. Great.
I
Thank you.
wrote these words for
Mhm.
everyone who struggles in their youth.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yep.
oh God, I love it. So, anyway, so that's what there. She's like, she's like, should I wear this? Should I wear that? They're like, don't wear this. I want you to look hot. And then, like, then she's like, Skylar, Skylar, Skylar. And like, Scotty's like, me? And she's
Mama,
like, oh, Scotty, get in. Scotty, no, God.
mama.
Scotty, not you, Scotty. Go hide. The cameras are here, Scotty. Skylar, like she, God bless what happened at that
I
house.
mean,
Was like upset, like was like, oh, she doesn't have the right hangers. I was like, oh, bitch, she doesn't raise it. She the hangers, Wad. That's what you're surprised? Are you that their
I
hangers are missing?
mean, this
Are you
woman now
surprised?
has so much money than what she had before. And I just want to see a little bit of it going to a way that I think it should go. But it is what it is. She's got carpets hanging from the walls. So basically, she
Money
tries
can't
to
buy
get
you
her
class.
grandkids to help her pick out a dress or in order to make Michael know what he's missing. She wants to look hot. And she's teaching her girl, daughter, or grandchildren just a valuable lesson. If you want to get back at a man and or get his intentions or attention, you should just dress sexy because that's what every Mima should teach their grandchild. I mean, just so many values. And also, you should also be a hellraiser and unbearable is what but in Angela's mind it is being a strong woman and sticking to your guns. Everybody else's mind is being a wild animal who needs to be tamed. But anyways, so she calls out Skyla. Skyla comes out and starts to help her pack what looks like a Nike athletic bag to travel. I mean, I just would love to see some actual luggage, but at least it wasn't luggage on the bed, which is the thing I hate. Chris puts here that that she's wearing a Sherpa headband. So let's talk about that because I don't quite know what that means.
Oh, like so this, yeah. Let me go back to. I'm sorry. I have a picture in this picture. Is she wearing it? Oh, God bless.
For those of you guys who are not
So yeah, look at her
listening
headband.
to this, so those of you guys who are not watching this, as obviously you're not on our Patreon, you should join our Patreon because this entire time, if you're ever confused as to what's going on and you're like, what are they talking about? It's because we have pictures on the screen right now and you could see the visuals of what we are attempting to describe, but doing a terrible job at describing.
Yes, but here we are, just in case, we don't have those. She's wearing a Sherpa headband. It's like, we all know that those like thick, kind of like cloudy looking jackets, like that are got in, everyone wears them, like usually like in a tan or caramel color, but this is an ivory color, just like Sherpa headband that she decides to put on her head. Like Angela's hair is going through it, and it's been going through it for a second because like it is to the nth degree bleached and like fried. And so like what we either see is like fake hair doing whatever it wants to do. And I mean fake, I mean not like fake like it's not Angela's, I mean fake like it's not anyone's actual hair. So like in yeah, because while money can't buy you class, just like Countess Luann saying like money can't buy you class, like, but Angela is Angela. So I mean, at the same time, it's funny, like everyone's scared, is so fucking scared of her, like this Mima energy she's talking about. She's not wrong. So basically, when she goes in her room and she's like still packing and Skylar comes in, we learn this information, which is this: that Michael has been doing her wrong because he supposedly has cheated on her with a super fan, but super fan, a la Usman and Kimbali. And that this person and him are like in like a textual relationship, if not like he invited her to like come to Nigeria, like, and it's she also then gets a flashback scene where she plays a voicemail that he supposedly like left this woman. I don't know how it came to her. Like, I don't know if it's like a little thing my loves, like, how like Muhammad and like Eve like had their whole situation, right? Where like in a kind of way, like I think that like a catfishy kind of person like came at Muhammad and then was only so happy to like wrap him up in like the fantasy of like some other woman like being like, yeah, fuck Angela, like, whatever, be with me, whatever. And then him giving her texts, pictures, and or voicemails, and then being like, "Hey, got him," and then being able to like be like, "Look what I got." You know, it's like the fan base is rabid and social media is bananas, and people are unsophisticated that are on the show. So like, put it all together, it's just like bananas. So anyway, I don't know if that's what happened. She gets this voicemail. The voicemail is of Michael telling this woman like, "Oh, I have some money I'm gonna set aside for you, and I can't wait to like see you," and then like makes kisses sounds. He's like, "Michael," you know, she's so pissed.
And she's crying, and Skylar's
Yeah,
like, "I hope you now see what's before you." And she's like, "Well, I got a secret weapon." And I'm not going to say what it is yet. And I'm thinking like, it's Billy. Is it Billy? She's got some kind of secret weapon where it's going to help to detect the lie that is Michael and to find out if he's really scamming. But she's like, he's been scamming me since day one. Day one. And we're just like, this is Angela, can you stop with this same tired ass storyline of Michael doing you wrong? Let's get something new in here. Then we find out that Kim is kind of worried about her interactions with Usman because the last time they interacted was on Bears All, which I didn't watch, and she looked like some kind of bank robber. It was like for someone to be a nurse, for Angela to wear the type of masks that she was wearing during the pandemic was like very indicative of the area she was in and the mindset that some folk have in this country. She looks like, I mean, it looks like the thinnest kerchief that like you poked a hole in and put it over your ears. And then there's this image on the Bear All Tell All where she's wearing that bandana, like thin nonsense around her face. And Usman has his hair braided in cornrows and is like sitting in the studio with like a fur coat on and sunglasses looking like a superstar, behind a audio or like a record recording mic. And we're just like, oh my God, you're so gross. Like, ugh. She's like, I'm doing good. Everything is good. I bought my mother a house. I got myself a new car. And she's like, yeah, you're using the money. You're scamming. And you're fucking scamming Nigerian. Would give them a heart. I can't get Michael to the US because of Nigerians like you. So she's worried about the interaction. And she also says that she's worried about Kimberly because she doesn't know. She's like, the drama is between me and Usman, and if Kimberly says anything, she better shut the hell up. And so it's just like she is just very concerned and worried about her interactions with Kimberly because I think like this might be the only fight that she could have with somebody besides Rachel from the John and Rachel season. John and Rachel Lucy, where she's gonna be able to fight somebody in studio, right? That's the last time she got like lippy with somebody on the stage that I recall. And
yeah.
so I just don't like the way she's coming at Kim. Like I just am feeling a little ways about it. I'm like, girl, stand down. Like also, if the shoe were on the other foot and another cast member were coming after Michael, you would feel well within your rights to stand up for Michael and to fight for him. So why is it that in this situation, you expect Kimbali to sit back and let you fight her man? It's nonsense. And it's like it's the double standard of I could have a social media and flirt with men, but you can't have a social media and flirt with women. She just really feels like whatever Angela wants to do is the right thing. And even if somebody else wants to do the exact same thing, if it goes against her in any way, she's not having it. Absolute trash. So there's a note here that says J-Lo. What does that mean?
At one point, we jump over to I think Liz, who has a friend.
Oh yeah,
Name is
I skipped that. I skipped Liz.
J-Lo.
Yeah, I saw that. J. Low. I said, what the gall?
I'm sorry, what? And this girl also had blonde streaks and a caramel hair. And I think hoop earrings. I think hoop earrings. I think they were earrings. I think they were hoops. And I was like, change your name.
I mean, listen, we're
are
gonna make
you-
fun of J-Lo for so many things, like trying to sing Whitney Houston and many other things, having a fake ass documentary. Yes, absolutely. But what
Let's
we won't
get
allow,
loud in the middle of America the Beautiful. I'll remember.
but what we won't allow is some non-ass J-Lo lookalike just going by the name J-Lo. Anyways,
You picked that. You know. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So the next scene we have is 48 hours later, and we're in New York City, and we've got a frenemy conversation between Andre, who is just so hot, except for he's a little red here because he's been drinking, and then we've got Jovi, who like is Jovi, right? And so y'all, we think that this is going to be like camaraderie bro time, and it quickly turns left because Jovi doesn't know how to argue and be still compatible, right? So it's like Andre is like, yes, what you saying? Fuck your wife? Your fucking wife wants to stay in Europe? No, it's not right. You are a couple. You are a couple. How dare she try to stay? And he's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then he's like, I think somebody fucking called, ICE on me, and I can't get my green card. Oh, Yara got her green card for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years? He's so like, like up in arms about Yara getting her permanent residency or green card, whatever, for 10 years, and that he's stuck. And so then he's like, because they're fucking family, blah, 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 blah. And Joey's like, well, you don't think you had any part in that? I mean, and Andre's like, no, what do you mean I have part in this? You think, what are you trying to say to me? And instead of Jovi just being like, hey, the arguments between you and the family, I mean, it's a bit much. Now I get it that Charlie's a dick and like, you've had some issues with the sisters, but you should attempt to like smooth things over, especially because you're saying you think that they might be, something that still allows him to speak his truth, but have Andre not go on the defensive. Because the truth is that as soon as Andre goes on the defensive, it's fuck this and fuck that. He's going to overtalk you and you're not going to win this fight.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that you could have had Andre on your side. And I would go into a tell-all having Andre on my side. I'd have Andre on every one of my sides. But no, I'm so happy that he's a dad and a loving husband. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is like he wasn't being mean, but like Jovi was the one that kind of, like at first kind of was like whatever. And then, but then there was like a back and forth, like, was there an alternative ending to this bar night where they get wasted and go to the strip club together and then just like, and the cameras can watch them either like make horrible decisions or make horrible decisions, even more horrible decisions? I'm not quite sure. Like I would have loved that, but instead they just like are kind of like two bitches that kind of just like fight and just storm out of the bar. And I'm just like, I think both of you just wanted like an early night. I mean, both of you just wanted to get back to that time, New York hotel suite, see what was on pay-per-view, like order one of those movies that's still in the theaters, Violent Night, who knows, like sit back and just like have like a dad, babyless night,
Yeah, I mean, it really was like Jovi couldn't get out of it, and then Andre's like, oh, okay, so what you fucking saying? You like you take your postpartum woman to strip club, and that's what you want for wife, la 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 la. And then he's like, I'm going to tell. He's basically like, I'm going to tell Yara what you said today. You are a party boy, and I'm like, listen, Andre's not wrong. Like, when it compares to how Andre approaches his marriage, he has 2 feet, literally 2 feet. I saw there's a picture of them standing side by side, and Jovi comes up to Andre's shoulder, which makes me go, oh God, Andre's so hot. I know. Like, Andre's so hot. She's so lucky that that man gets to blow her back out whenever she wants. So anyways,
I would get rid of every one of my family members if they were my family members. I love my family members. They're not family de la bay, so no. Oh my God, Becky, Bookie, bye boobs. I don't give a shit about you. What'd you do for me?
I have an Andre.
That's to keep her best family member anyway, the dad that gave her everything, that loves her so much, so everything.
We've got 36 hours later, and we've got in Lagos, and Usman is like, I mean, the way he treats them, I mean, I get, maybe this is the way service is in Nigeria or specifically Lagos, but the way he like talks to the people who are servicing him is really kind of annoying to me. Like, I don't know. He's like, come on, let's go, to like the bellman, and he's like, I think I have a reservation here. It's like, girl, you have a reservation here. What are you talking about? But he's nervous about his interactions with Angela as well. So we start to get like, okay, they're both anxious about meeting each other. Then we've got Jenny in the city, girl.
honey, like Carrie.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. Ba bum ba bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. Ba bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Jesus.
Bing, 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 bing. Jenny.
Yes,
Now,
honey.
first they try to set it up like she's not in that she's in India, and we all know she's in the US. Like I mean,
Oh,
the packages are in English. Like they're not.
gosh, yeah, she's in a market. You're like, she's like looking at like the pearled rice and the spices. You're like, oh, it's definitely specifically Indian looking, and they give us a little music, but yes, honey, pull out. And what is she doing? She's just
She's
like at a
buying
like a
Indian
Indian
food in New
bodega.
York City. Like we didn't
Yep.
need that. Like, girl, you are actually from the place where this food is supposed to be from or is from and mimics whatever. So why are you in the US buying Indian food? Who set you up for this?
Are we supposed to believe that she's gonna go back to her timeout hotel and like boil some like
Lentils?
rice in her like lentils in her like what coffee maker? I mean, like that she has now become so accustomed to Indian food that she's like, I can't be without it. No, no room service for me, not Jenny. Like please bring me up some chan masala.
Yeah. And so then we have this scene of her just like walking across the street, head down, like it's so busy. And oh, the first time I've been in America in 3 years, and like New York City is just bright lights and it's
It's definitely reverse culture shock.
yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God. But it is cute for her to have been in the States. I was happy for her. I was like, you look cute. I'm sad that Sumit couldn't figure out his visa. Like, what's taking him so long to get his visa? Like, there's a tell-all. Why didn't y'all apply for his visa as soon as you signed on for the show? I'm
I
sick of
bet you
him.
his mom. I know his mom has like a stole in the visa office. That his mom has gotten all the way after that visa office. She's like, don't you fucking ever. And no one goes against Sumit's mom. It's a known thing in India, honey. The only person who doesn't know that, Jenny.
So then we've got a scene where she goes by the waterfront and she meets with Kimbali, and they are about the same age, and Jenny's older, but they realize that they're kindred spirits. They realize that they both are from San Diego, born and raised. And they are going into this like being each other's like support system. And Jenny says that Kimbali is the only cast member who reached out to her. They've been talking a couple times back and forth through social media. And so like it was an unlikely pairing, but I'm happy that Jenny has some kind of support, because as we are going to see probably in next episode, she tries to defend herself, but it always comes off so flat. And if at least Kimberly might be able to give her some bubbly or whatever. And they both talk about Angela, and they're both worried about how Angela is going to come at them. And I'm like, oh, look at these 3 older white women dating abroad, and they're worried about Angela. Like literally they are all we needed is Danielle Jabali or Eve. And we could just like seal the deal. We could get a Rebecca in here. And I just was like, wow, there are a lot of older white women dating younger men from other countries.
Yeah, it was, absolutely. I think it was like, it's one of the fine tenements of this series. Yeah, I think it's interesting because they're both wearing blue in this. They both talk about the fact that they're from San Diego. They have so much in common. But one thing that Jenny says, it's like, so Kim Bodley's like, oh my God, we just can't believe how much in common we have. And Jenny's like, well, I gave up my whole life, and Kim was like, me too. Me too. Like, no, Jenny's like, no, I gave up my family and my car and my house and my clothes. And Kimberly's like, yeah. And I was like, Kimberly, you never get into that shit. You just like went there like 3 times. You definitely always had your place in like San Diego. Jenny like straight up left a country, gave up she's like, no social security necessary for me here. I don't know what the Jenny did. I mean, she cashed out. I don't know what the hell she did. I don't know. But anyway, she really did give up.
Jenny indoctrinated herself.
Everything.
Yeah, she indoctrinated herself into Indian culture so much that every time we see her dressed up, she is in Indian clothes. The woman is in the US. She could be wearing something like Kimbali, but she's like, no, it's comfortable? This outfit. And it's of my husband's culture. She's fully like, could you imagine Kimbali coming to the tell-all in any African attire that wasn't like just a dashiki? Like maybe she would come in a dashiki, but she would not wear any African garb if she lived there or didn't. Jenny committed.
Yeah.
And like that has to be applauded, I think, to a certain extent.
Well, think
Um,
about Ari. Ari also would Ari
mhm,
lived there, and she
mhm,
would show up
mhm.
in garb,
Yep.
tradish garb. So,
Yep.
yeah, so they're just like BFF peas in a piggity pod, honey. They're like, we're gonna have you're my back, you're my back, you're my we're wearing the same things on our backs, which is like coincidental, like they look like members of I'm so sorry. What is it? The Crips? They look like mild members.
I mean, they
Walking
don't
back
look
in
like
like I
members.
don't but they just like isn't they look like a little bit like they're wearing handkerchiefs that are Crip colors. Ha ha ha. Don't kill me. I love you guys. Okay, so
Also, I mean, they could be a part of some kind of cult. I thought you were going to say cult at first. I was like, yes, they're part of some kind of like Sun Valley cult where they all wear like mildly ethnic patterns with jeans and sandals. But it's definitely indicative of their generation. It must be. I was like, how is it that you two managed to wear the almost like same outfit? That's so crazy. So then we get another buddy coupling, and we've got Yara and Shida, and they go jewelry shopping on Fifth Avenue. So you have like Kim and Jenny who like go to a park, and then you've got the two I guess fashion forward hip girls, and they go jewelry shopping on Fifth Avenue, which I absolutely loved. Like when they said that that ring costs $15,000, I was like, God bless it. Also, Shida's earrings, I really love Shida's style. I loved Yara in this too. They both were wearing gold as an accessory. Yara's giving me 80s with this like strapless leather browned like top with like the high-waisted cream colored with the gold accessory and the chain necklace or the thick necklace, and it was just a cute conversation. And they talk about the importance of being financially independent from their spouses, which I always advocate. And Yara's talking about how she has her business, and Shida's like, well, how'd you do it? Like basically just having those kind of conversations. And then we find out that Bilal will not let her have access to his funds. She doesn't know how much he makes, and that he doesn't want to do a joint bank account. And this is again all of my lifetime television for women like fears of marrying somebody and then not having financial independency, where like you have no idea what's going on. I mean, this man she could come home one day and everything in that house be gone, and she's just left looking stupid.
I really felt okay. At one point, she's like, think about it. I'm much older than you, Yara. Not much. But she's like, I'm older than you, Yara. And like, I have to ask for my own money. Like, I have to ask for money. It sucks. And it's like, yeah, it does suck. And it also brings me back to a place of ultimately, if your wife feels financially insecure, it looks bad on you. I think that I think it's a horribly embarrassing, and it should feel horribly embarrassing for Bilal. And I've always felt this way, to traipse around with Louis Vuitton luggage while we have to experience a shy who has given up a whole bunch of shit, just like we talked about Jenny. This woman gave up a lot to be in this culture and in this country and in your life, your specific life. I don't yeah, it should be embarrassing that your wife doesn't feel taken care of and financially stable, like she doesn't have like some pocket money. Like, I mean, you should be giving her some money, like she can't be asking you for everything, and she should have access to like certain amount of funds.
I mean, I think that we're in a space of perception and him not caring about that perception versus the reality of the fact that like he doesn't care about that perception. So he's not. And I think that there are a lot of men who feel that way, who are just like, listen, I pay for your necessities, and if you want any extra, like maybe he does give her a certain amount, but it's not enough and she has to ask him for more and stuff like that. Like maybe they didn't negotiate like $3,000 a month in her bank account, and or I don't know, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like all of that needed to have been set up, which is why, again, financial independence is so important, you guys. Like have it somehow by hook or by crook. So then she's like, Yara says a lot of things. She's like, the bank situation, she's like, flight tickets to go somewhere. She's like, you need joint bank accounts because he could have flight tickets to go somewhere. And, I'll tell him about the bank situation and let him know it's not normal. Like, basically, she's like, listen, this man could be fluing bitches out. and doing all kinds of shit behind your back because you don't have access to the finances. So if you need help, I got your back, girl. And I love it. And she's like, but you know what? I have your back, girl. At first I thought it was like, I have your black girl. And I was like, what?
Yari looked like Madonna in this 80s, and then like definitely Shy was giving me like that clueless yellow print. So they were like it was a good buddy produced situation. So
Yeah.
I was happy about that one. And it's like I also want Shy to experience New York with a Yara because I feel like Shy's first experience in New York was just like not it. She had a dry pretzel, she had a bad Ferris wheel ride, like she didn't get to do anything fun, she just like had like one weird restaurant, like Greek restaurant where like her friend just like went at her husband. Anyway, God bless. So
Oh, go ahead.
so then she goes back and has a conversation with Bilal. Okay, this is where it's like whatever. She's like, look, I really like in her mind. She comes into the room being like, I liked being with Yara, and she's like, awesome. Bilal's like, oh, good. Like, how was everything? She's like, oh yeah, Yara's awesome. Like, she's like a mom. She's like a businesswoman. She just like she's killing the game. God bless. And Bilal's like, mm-hmm. And I feel like right here is like he's like, oh shit, I don't know about this one. And then she's like, yeah, and she was just like talking. We just like bringing up things, and one thing that was just like naturally brought up is the fact that we don't have a shared bank account. Remember when we talked about that and you were like, no? And he's like, well, why don't we start with a piggy bank first? And it's like, Bilal, do you know the English language? And do you have ears? How dare you say any how do you know the cameras are recording you say that? And have you heard any commentary of the way people think that you are or have behaved in the entirety time we've been seeing you on television? I mean, because at this point there is no saving you from any critique. How dare you minimize as well as like infantilize like what she's just asked of you, and piggy bank is to this like grown ass woman. I mean, this part of me makes just like it feels like my vagina just like closes up with like the veracity of a secret cave that like, and you said the wrong password and forever like the cave and the riches of the cave will like not be known to you, like unlucky traveler, and like next 1,000 years we'll see if like humankind will give like someone else a better option. You know what? Come on.
I mean, he just doesn't know. He's so oblivious to the fact that he is patronizing to her at every turn, and he thinks that's funny. Him and Ed are cut from the same stupid fucking cloth. They think that shit is funny.
That'd
And
be a good pairing. Why didn't they pair them up?
Because Bilal had work to do, so he didn't go to it. And Ed didn't come in until the nighttime or whatever. So that's what happened. So then we have another thing where he's like, I'm doing everything I can, and it just feels like you're never happy. And he says the same thing that Jovi says. My wife is very influenced by other people. Like, Shy isn't a grown-ass woman who knows her own mind and knows what it is that she wants. It's like what my mother used to say when I would like want something as a kid. Oh, don't let your friends get you thinking that we got more money than we got. It's like, at this point, like, I'm an adult. This person is an adult and they are saying, this is what I need. And you are thinking that they are being influenced by someone else, like they're a fucking teenager and an idiot teenager.
Yep. It's specifically this. First of all, Shy's the one that brought it up. So every time that Shy has ever talked to anyone else about something that she wants Bilal to deal with, it's because she brings it up. Because she already has had the thought. Because she wants something, but she can't either say it right, or he's manipulative, or she feels like she needs support in some way, which is exactly what happens. She knows that what she's feeling, and she's already had this conversation with Bilal, so it's not that Yara influenced her. They've already talked about it, so she brought it up, is that she gets guidance from someone and validation that the thing that she wants is a good thing, is a normal good thing. And it's not something that person wants. So then she's being influenced by them away from whatever he wants, which is truly the incorrect choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. And then he brings up to her, "Hey, remember the last tell-all? It went down." And she's like, "You know what? I know that you want me to defend you." And he's like, "No, I don't need you to defend me because I'm a grown-ass man." And I'm like, "Oh, are you?
Oof.
Oh, we
Okay.
couldn't tell because you don't want to you don't want to tell your wife how much money you make monthly. You don't want to have a shared bank account. So are you grown?" And then he's like, and then he's like, "I just don't need you to join in with them," which I thought was a reasonable ask because I could see how that would be frustrating to me if I were on this show and somebody were to do something. Is like my silence when someone asks me, "Do you agree with that?" I would be like, and they show the clip of Sean being like, "Shida, do you agree?" And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Yes, Bilal, yes." And I could see that being a point in contention. So in that moment, I'd be like, "I don't have a comment, actually, Sean. Thank you so much."
But yeah, I think that for Shy, I think that this is someone who's always denying,
Mhm,
and so for her to have validation, like, yes, yes, oh
mhm,
yeah, like, oh my god, thank God, I'm not fucking crazy. You make me feel
mhm.
like I'm supposed to be the one that's crazy, but it's actually you, thank God, and everyone else sees it. And so in those moments, she like wants him to be like, just be like, yeah, I get it, or whatever, but he never will. So I think that it's a fight. She has a fight against her. It's a fight. This marriage is a fight. Can always be like hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll just never get over. It's just what annoys me ultimately that he won't make her feel financially secure is that since he chose to parade designer luggage, which is a foolish
Jesus.
choice,
Jesus.
they throw it everywhere. You're
I
gonna tell me you're
mean,
gonna waste you just wanna you wanna waste $20,000? If you can waste $20,000 every 3 months because you travel and they're gonna throw your LVs everywhere, if that's what you want to do, then this woman gets 20,000 every 3 months. She can buy that ring every 3 months, okay?
that's Chris. Chris will always advocate for the upper middle class woman to get everything that she ever wants.
How
And
dare you, Wa?
you have to
Wait,
support her. Someone has to
wait.
support the upper middle class
Wa,
woman.
do you think that I don't want every woman to get? Wait. You're are you insane to say that to me? What have I ever said to you that has made you feel like I'm being classist of my
Oh,
want?
no. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just whenever we've had these conversations, let me take it back. Audience, I'm not saying that she only wants it for the upper middle class. I'm not
Yes,
saying
of
that.
course not. I
I'm
want it
not
for
saying
yes, okay,
she wants it for everybody. She wants it for everybody.
okay.
It just the Louis Vuitton luggage feels like a waste of money to me so much so that I'm like, I can't even imagine. I would get nice luggage, but it wouldn't be designer, right?
Tumi! You get Tumi, which is fucking expensive, but you know that if you buy Tumi, you're gonna spend like $10,000 or
But it's
whatever,
like good.
and will
I
last you for years. They'll throw it everywhere.
Yes,
But
and
your
I guess
LV
I just feel
cloth
like
won't.
the Louis Vuittons is just like a waste of money because it's not gonna last. That's what I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm on board if it's like Tumi or one of those other fancy brands that has like a really really good like shelf life. Okay. So moving on, we then get to Angela. And why they choose to show us Angela when she's already drunk, I don't know, but it's just a part of them trolling her. So we get Angela who is like getting out of a Uber and she is immediately like dancing. And I have to say, she don't look bad. Face-wise, like if we look at this blurry picture of her going up to this young man touching his body, and he says, "Where are you going tonight?" And of course, he has agreed to be on this show because him and his friend in that limo have nothing to do with Angela. They just see this woman coming out of a Uber and they see that she's drunk and they see a full camera crew following her. And she just literally comes out and she's like, and she does her like dance that she does all the time. It's like her sexy dance. And like I need to identify that dance that I have because I must have it too. There's always like certain moves that women do where that you can look at them and see that they feel that they are in their pocket. When
First
the
of
rest
all
of us are looking at them and we're like,
First of all, I feel directly attacked by that because I know that you think that you know mine, and I'm mad at you. Also, I feel like, do you think that this Guido Jersey Shoreyest Italian man knows who Angela is?
"No, I don't, but I know that he sees a camera crew following her." So he's like, "Oh, let's get in on this. She gets out of the car and she's immediately dancing. I want to find the picture
I think
of
that he
her.
does. Like Angela's, I mean, like a lot of people watch 90 Day Fiancé, and Angela and Darcy are like big ass deals, aren't they?
Oh, maybe I don't. I just don't know anymore. I truly don't know. I do know that my coworker does watch 90 Day Fiance because I came in on a Monday and somebody was like, blah 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 blah, and she's like, yeah, and like 90 Day Fiance, and she literally said like Jenny and Sumit, and I turned to her and I was like, isn't it crazy that mom's never gonna love her? And she's like, and so I was like, damn, I can't tell anybody here that I do 90 Day Fiance, but I watch it. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, she's like slinking dancing and she's with her friend who's giving Big Ange vibes with all the plumping of the face.
Oh God. Oh my God. I just, this woman, God bless, and I know it's a look, and I know it was just, and it was very Big Ange, and it's just, and I'm just, it's interesting. It's interesting. And this woman comes out of nowhere. It's always interesting when Angela's friends are like like just like come into existence, and it's like, who's that person? And you're like, how long have you been in Angela's life? And
Yeah.
because obviously we know Renee, and Renee is not here so far. No Renee, like we don't know where that person is.
We know the very first friend we saw, and then that friend, that friend's name was Jen too, like the blonde
No, yeah,
haired.
the blonde girl.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who that person is now. And by the way, we don't know $100 that like Jen and Angela no longer talk. They got in some big fight. Jen was like, she's crazy and toxic and whatever. So Renee obviously was on the whole season, and we know that Renee had recently got into Angela's life, like post fame,
Yes.
because of the fact that they smoke in airports together. There's a big thing. They love doing it.
This
So
is
like,
Angela's look. Hold on, let me put it up. She does this all the time. Whenever she's dancing, for those of you in Patreon, she does this thing where she like flicks her hand and her face. And listen, I'm looking at her and I'm like, listen, this bitch isn't. I would think she's sexy too. She looks good. This is a good shot of her. This is a good side profile of
it's a
her.
blurry good shot. It's a good, yeah. It's
Mhm.
and that's her natural hair. What? I didn't listen. I don't know why I lost you for that one.
As though her natural hair is good. Her natural hair is just as bad as the unhuman hair.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. But I'm just saying. It's just I don't know. So yeah, basically that guy's like, yeah, I want to be with you, and she's like, man, bye. She's like so drunk. She's like parading around. Now she does look good. She's like, she loves them loose titties and them loose dresses, and
I
but like
mean, and this is the second time we've seen this outfit.
it is so low, like that. Like actually, the crack of the blue dress is so low that I am surprised that we don't see literally a crack. And also, she has a very interesting tan line and this dress that makes me feel like she has like one of those like low bathing suits that has like why don't buy weird bathing suits that give you bad tan lines. Like try and minimize your tan lines. Like her, if possible, if possible.
I
That's
mean,
my trick.
she wore that outfit when she first went to Nigeria the first time, and I said, "Girl, I know you're trying to like show off your clothing from your brand, but we've already seen this. So give us something else."
Yeah.
Anytime they're filming, you should be wearing a different outfit that we've never seen. So she gets into the hotel room after stumbling around, and later on we find that she runs into Shai and Bilal.
Oh.
And and she gets into the hotel and she's just like dancing and having such a good time because she's fucking drunk. And then she has this conversation with Jen where she's like, I don't, Kim Bali. Again, she goes in on Kim. Like she's just having a lot of anxiety about having to fight Kim in person. And it is very annoying. So then we get to the next scene, and that next scene is immediately at the tell-all. They don't do that one shot where they show everybody pulling up in their at black SUVs. They just get to it, and the first thing we see is Ed or Jug. Let's call him that.
Shaped as a jug. Yeah, who's shaped as a jug.
Just chugging Pepto-Bismol in a way that is like, do you have diarrhea, sir? Do you have the shits? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you drinking it like that?
Then he says it's better than a Malbec. So yeah, I mean, which is a lovely Argentinian red wine, very spicy notes, but great for the steak. Liz looks great. So we don't talk about them that much, but I will say Liz looks great. She's like definitely, I feel like unfortunately hasn't lost the LB that is Ed, but she's like very toned and she's like giving me like Barbiecore pink satin tight dress, and he's wearing Barbiecore pink matching Crocs, and I hate that for anyone that has to know that they wear a similar shoe, you know. I just would
Okay.
hate I would hate to look down at my feet and then think, "Oh, Big Ed and I in this very moment are wearing the exact same."
You know, a lot of disgusting people wear Crocs, but a lot of awesome people wear them as well. Christine. So, also, let's just say this is that when the two old biddies are in the park, the two old biddies in like ethnic blues are in the park.
They're Crips.
Kim
They're
talks
Crips.
to the two white Crip biddies.
Crip walking.
Two biddies are in the park. Kim's like, "Well, you ready? You got your heels on?" And Jenny's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna wear heels. Like you're wearing heels," and Kim's like, "Yeah." And then, you know me,
Oh.
someone says heels, and I think, "Excuse me, let me see them." And then this bitch walks into this place wearing the lowest kitten heels that ever existed. I mean, heels. Did you say you're wearing heels, Kim? Did she say she's wearing heels, Kim? Those are, Chris, those are 1 inch kitten. And I'm pretty sure they're like thick. Maybe they're thin. Who knows? But I said, wow, you know, kitten heels can be harder to walk in than regular because you're so low to the ground, you forget you're in a heel and then you like go to the side. But I said, don't call that a heel. No, ma'am. Prince wore higher heels than that.
That's true. They're still the like second best shoe. I mean, you know, like every other shoe represented in this picture wall is just atrocious. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I
I don't
love
mind.
Liz's. I love Liz. Like, look at that. I mean, she looks
Yeah,
like she has no shoe on. Her legs look
yeah.
long. And I was looking at them and I was like, oh, I need that shoe. I have something
Oh,
similar, but it doesn't have as much support. That one had like two straps on the foot and the ankle and in the back as well. So it was like really secure, which I think I could go look for that right now.
oh, okay. Well, is there any other shoes that look familiar to you in this picture also, Wa?
I see some Crocs. And again, I'm going to stand 10 tones down and say, move this picture out of the way and say, shitty people wear Crocs, but awesome people wear Crocs as well.
Okay. So anyway, so yeah,
I mean, let's
wouldn't
not even get
allow
to your household footwear because next time at your house, I'm gonna take pictures and put them all over the internet of your household footwear. Go ahead.
you'll never be in my house again, Wa. She did move far away, so it's like, gonna be so long. It's so sad.
Oh, I
So
forgot. In this moment,
forgot that
in this moment, I was like, I will get in my car right now and drive to your house. I forgot where I was.
10 days later. So when Bilal comes into the green room, Ed's there, and Ed then makes a horrible joke where he's like, "Well, hi, well, what am I supposed to say?" And then like Kimberly, of all people, is like, Assalamu alaikum," and he's like, "Masala mustard green." Like he makes like some
Hasta luego.
yeah, hasta luego joke, and then like he's like, "Just kidding." Actually, I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan, and we're like, and the entire world screamed, "No, you're not, Ed. You're small. How could you be someone's biggest fan?" You know. Anyway, he's tiny. So I don't know why. Then it made me think, yeah, like it would have been a great pairing to see them. Like, what are the pairings you want to see? Like Bilal and Ed. I mean, I would pay money to watch Andre and Ed wrestle. Like, if there was an exhibition that I could just see, like, I would love to see Andre just like, wouldn't you pay money would you pay money to watch it?
No, I don't want to see Ed in little underwear because you know he would come out like Nacho Libre in like little Speedos. I don't want to see that shit.
I just feel like
Absolutely not.
just watch Andre just one and done. I'm gonna knock your pussy ass out.
No. Trash.
Oh.
So they're all talking about the different people
In
that
Vegas
they're
so well? In what if it was in Vegas?
no. I don't
Okay.
want to see Ed do shit. I don't want to
Okay.
see him do anything. Now I want to see, let's say Let's have what if we just had like a thing of Andre just like rolling around in some oil and just like doing this to himself? Yes, I'd want to see that.
Okay. Or, he's, like, married now, it's, like, bad, they're all married. Good for Andre, good for Libby.
Yeah, good for them. So we did have a series of conversations where we talk about everybody's opinions. Ed thinks that Shida's a gold digger. He thinks that Bilal bringing her to the fake home was hilarious. And I think that's when Kim kind of turns against him because Kim is like, oh, we're both from San Diego. How come we've never hang out? And then she realized this is why the fuck we've never hung out. And then Jovi is like, yeah, me and Andre got into an argument. And then Andre walks in and it gets quiet. And Andre walks in and he pulls a
Yeah.
chair over. And Jenny's like, oh, so maybe wear a shirt like that. And so they have a moment. And then they ask Andre about the night that Jovi and Andre had. And Andre's like, well, he doesn't want to like divulge like what exactly happened. He's like, it didn't end well. Jovi walked out because we were talking about, he says that blah, 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 blah. And then Yara walks in and Yara's like, I look like American flag. And it's like, no, girl, you look like Ukrainian flag. What are you talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, literally beautifully done. I
Yeah.
mean, like light blue and yellow,
Yeah, great. It looks great. So she sits down and then Jovi, like, I mean, the worst 13-year-old, 16-year-old teenager vibes ever. He's like, well, you don't know what he said about you yesterday. And here's the truth. This is something that I will stand by 100%.
What?
And Chris and I differ with this because once I asked her about this and her response wasn't what my response was.
Okay.
If you are my friend
Mhm.
and someone is shit talking me and you don't defend me, but then come back and tell me, I'm more mad at you than I'm mad at the person who is shit talking. Because I truly feel that it is your job as my spouse, as my friend, as whatever, to defend me in that moment. And even then, you don't have to come back and tell me. Because especially if it's going to like stress me out, right? And that's in that moment, it felt like it stressed Yara out. She's like, what did you say? And Jovi's like, and I'm like, I would have been like, Jovi, what did he say? And what did you say, motherfucker? Like that's would have been my reaction. Don't come back to me and tell me the next day that somebody was shit talking and you just sat back and let it happen and didn't defend me. And that's what it felt like, is because Jovi wanted somebody to be on his side. And as soon as he turned against Andre turned all the way against him. And then then Andre threw him 100% under the bus because Jovi didn't do what he needed to do, which was control the narrative. He needed to go home immediately, tell Yara what happened, and then there in front of everybody, tell Yara what happened and put Andre on the defense. No. He allowed Andre to set the tone of what happened that night. And that's where Andre was like, yes, no, I did say, I said, you're a gold digger and this, but I also said he shouldn't take you to strip clubs. And I also said he's not a good husband. And I also said this. And yes, the numbers are 1 and 3 are scamming. And she didn't have anything to say to 1 and 3 are scamming because she knows 1 and 3 are scamming. Chris?
Yes, absolutely she does. Yeah, and he's like, and he wanted to take me to a strip club last night. And then it like cut to, and it's like it shows them having the fucking exact conversation where Jovi's like, we could go tonight. Jovi's always down. This is like a mild addict. So he's just like, God bless. How we were gone traveling, and then you're like walking around and like people like start saying like, people are like Coke and like trying to get you to like buy that or whatever. Like I feel like in Jovi's mind, he walks around and his mind's always like strip club, and so he always puts out little feelers as he goes around the night, like for people. I think that he just in this moment was like, first of all, wouldn't the producers love it? Also, B, wouldn't I? And
yeah.
also,
and Andre's like, no, you want me to get divorced? No. I love my family. I'm good Eastern European family loving man. Like
I loved when Andre's like, an Eastern European woman do not like that shit. Like, and Yara was like, oh yes, he fucking knows, he knows or whatever. And also like low-key, I also feel like Andre said that Yara was too good for Jovi, which was one of the reasons why he thought that she was a gold digger, because she's like better than him, ha ha ha. Which Yara couldn't also really say, like she can't really ever say anything to the many people in her life like, but you're so much better than him, because she's like, No, that's true. No, I know it. Obviously, I know I have eyes. And also, at the end of the day, like Jovi is Jovi and he's not an alpha. And if we know one thing about our boy, Andre, honey, what's A for? Stands for Andre, stands for
Alpha and stands for always kick your ass.
yeah.
So it was like Jovi wasn't prepared for that fight. And so Yara was just like, I think Yara felt a way about Andre, but also the cherry on the cake, the cherry on the ice cream sundae was that your husband asked me to go strip club, and I said no, which is exactly what happened. And so that's why Jovi is a fucking idiot. Like, he gets on my nerves. So then Ed decides to play both sides of the fence. Because Ed is like, you guys don't give Angela any credence. She's going to come in here and be loud and crazy. Give her nothing. That's what she wants. And then they're like, oh, yeah. Jovi's like, yeah, we waited for her like half the day last tell all. And, I hope we're not doing that right now. Then they call them all down. And Angela then pulls up, y'all. And y'all, this woman gets out of this car wearing this dress with these side cutouts. And then we have a scene where we see a can fall out. Now, this is her homegirl Jen's car. So I don't know if this was staged or she planned it this way. We don't know exactly. That could be Diet Pepsi, the kind of candidate. It could be Coors or it could be a Diet Pepsi, right? We don't know exactly what it is.
Cactus cooler.
I mean, no, that the cactus cooler is like yellow and
green. I don't know. I can't say anything. I'm blind.
okay.
But she grabs her ass, honey, and
Silver.
she's like she's in midair at one point. I have no idea. She's
twerking, and then she grabs her. I mean, just the smallest little bit of ass that she like. I mean, this woman has no booty,
mhm.
And she just is twerking, and she comes out and she does this, and it's just like, oh god, oh god, oh god. It's just so. Ugh. And so she gets there and she starts to put on makeup, or someone puts makeup on her, and she calls Michael. Michael doesn't answer, and guess what? It's because Michael's getting his mic put on. Michael is like fully in production mode at this time. When he sits down and gets settled, he then calls her, and her first reaction is, "Why don't you answer your goddamn phone, Michael?" And it's just like the abuse begins. And she's just going off about how you need to defend me if Usman says anything. And blah, 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 blah. And this kind of lets me know that the fact that she keeps talking about this means that I think part of her understands that what she's about to do might be wrong and might be like a little off cuff. Because otherwise, why does she keep talking about it? Why does she have to talk about it every single time as like her anxiety and nerves about it? So they're all on stage. They all do a little bit of introduction, talking about, where they are. And Ed and Liz say they're together, and Shai and Bilal say hello to everybody. It's just like, normal hello, Sumit. And Sumit says something about how the house is not a home because Jenny's not there. And Jenny can't handle it, y'all.
No,
She can't take it.
She can't talk. She like it takes her down, like I get it, but like her reaction is also kind of a little bit like, have you ever been with like a new mom who travels for the first time and then like she really, really misses her babies, like I kind of felt like that. Sumit this entire time, because he's obviously being projected behind Jenny on a in a Zoom style way, kind of looks sometimes like a portrait that's like just right behind her, because sometimes he doesn't really like make a lot of moves and he's just like sitting there smiling, and the color palette is quite lovely. So it's what's happening. He's not there. He can't get the visa. Obviously, Usman's not there. He can't get the visa. Anyone else being and Michael. So those are the people that are not there.
Well, also Libby's not there because she's super pregnant.
Yeah. And we get a little bit of her like giving, her like Zoom backstage. Yeah, she's 1 month due. She looks super, super cute, but she wants to get that baby out. One cute part is like, yeah, around this time, Sean Robinson's like, so, like when she's like checking in, like, hey, Libby, like, how's everything? When Andre's like, I'm being really helpful. Like, is that true? Libby's like, yeah, with Ellie, he gives me breaks or whatever. He's like, see, I give breaks.
I love that he's also like, I'm so happy to have son, so I have successor. And I said, well, then fuck Ellie then, right? Like, if you didn't have a son, you wouldn't have a successor. What are you talking about?
I don't know. He loves that girl Ellie so much. So like, like it's I think that maybe there's just something a little like one son, one daughter, like the son has my last name.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that at this point, when Kimberly is in the studio getting her makeup done, she actually threatens Kim. Like, she actually threatens to like fight or beat her up or like whatever. Like, now the Kim rhetoric is like on 10 about what she's about to do to Kim if Kim even purses her lip to speak. And then we have a little bit of Kim being shady in the green room, where she stands up and she's like, after Ed says like nobody pay attention to Angela, Kim is like, I don't know, Angela thinks that she's queen bee, so. And then Jenny's like, yes, Kimberly, I agree. And then we have the scene of Angela being pulling up with like a beer can or some miscellaneous can falling out of the car. And it's like, the truth is that yes, Angela in a tell-all is going to be explosive. But honestly, Kim, you were the queen bee this season. I mean, really, you were the one who gave us all of the things that we needed. There was ups and downs and lefts and rights, and we were here for it. So this is a PSA for Kim, or this is a special message for Kimberly. Girl, you are bringing the heat as well.
And everyone, listen, guys, and everyone, don't let anyone take away your power. Like, you bring it. And just because someone's louder than you doesn't mean everyone feels a certain way about it. And I don't mean just the cast, I mean the viewers. And what I'm going to finally say is that unfortunately, I have to say, Ed is right in that if these cast members just never said shit to Angela, if they just let Angela scream about either whatever's happening in her life or about whatever's happening then, like, she'd have no power. She only has power if you let her.
It's in the reaction.
Yeah.
So then we've got Yara kind of saying like, oh, I don't want to have anything with Angela because I just fixed my boobs. I don't want for she to jump on me and destroy them. And so we think that Yara is going to be like really like kind of chill. But when Angela walks out and immediately starts to attack Usman, I mean, this is as much as annoying as it was, as she walks out and she goes, hey, you crazy motherfucker, when she's talking to Ed, and she goes and bumps him, which is why we know Ed's a double agent, because he just finished talking shit about her. And now he's like, oh, hey. And then she's like, fuck you to Usman, like scammer, and starts going off at him. And Usman's having absolutely none of it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I am on his side the whole time. He is like, you are the worst thing to happen to Nigeria. No, sit down, you stupid, you pig, you asshole.
Rubbish. I was like, oh, rubbish, honey. Like, it's always interesting because as Americans, like, don't get certain words, like in our ear that much.
I get rubbish. That is a very British thing, which Belizeans say.
Yeah, it's very yeah. It feels very British, but yeah. So I can see, yeah, rubbish. But yeah, so Angela never sits down. Like, Angela had walked into the cast, walked around, and then was like, I like you, I hate you, I like you, I hate you, and had said to Usman pretty much, I hate you. Usman has his reaction, which is like pig, 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 which we have here. I mean, they show, oh God. Yes, go and get your seat, pig. And because she's not sitting down, she's just kind of like screaming now in the center of the mosh pit of the stage. And then Yara, who had just, of course, was like, whatever, is like, go sit down. You are unrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And then gives Angela just the perfect opportunity to like showcase her like Miona beauty hair right in Yara's face, just like, Yara's like, I don't care if you can scream in my face, just go sit down. Angela's like, I'll do whatever I want. Haven't you read the fine print? I own the set. I own TLC to know, like, if there's one blonde that's going to be screaming, it's hi me, and Yara's like, obviously our queen, so I stand a Yara. I hate a Angela. Like, I would say I'd want them to fight, but I really don't want like Yara to like, like break a nail on that like beast, truly. But yeah, basically Yara kind of gets Angela to storm off the set.
Yeah.
But instead of production being like, well, we have to wait, and for Angela, they're kind of like, all right, well, she'll come back.
Yeah. I mean, it
So
is great. Like she doesn't she's like cuz she chooses to do that with Yara. She could have just sat down and ignored Yara, but she wanted to go after her like she did after Rachel. And she's like, Yara, you shut up. And Yara's like, no, you are very unrespectful, Angela. You sit down, go sit down. And then Angela gets in her face, and Yara was like, what? And I wanted Yara to stand up, but I knew if she did, that would give Angela the opportunity to push her down. So it was a very smart move not to stand up. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care. And I said, oh, thank you, Yara. She's our queen. She's our queen. And then Sean Robinson is like, what? I mean, everyone, we need to start the show. And I'm like, Sean, the show started an hour ago. What are you talking about? The
I
show
know,
been started. Who's
I know.
watching whatever version of this where you're like, hi, everyone. I'm Sean
Yeah,
Robinson. And this is 90 Day Fiancé, the tell all part one. Like, girl, we're not here for
shorten the
you. You
show.
barely ask any questions that we care about, sis. So, like, take your magical skin and go somewhere else.
Listen, honey, we come for the biceps, we stay for the biceps, okay? And it's just like we ask the questions in our own minds and then wait for someone else maybe in the cast to ask the question, but like you just I mean, and I love you. You're beautiful in this coral peach number and your makeup gorgeous. I mean, she's always a radiant goddess, but I've always kind of said she's too good for the show. Like she's too good for the show. She's a professional journalist, and this is a beautiful that could also is also a model at like she's gorgeous. So but she is so elegant and she just she's too good for the show. We need someone to actually kind of get in the nitty gritty and kind of press these people to get at something. And also we kind of need someone who has a little more of like a dom energy to let everyone know that like you're not going to get over my question. And
Yep.
Angela always feels like if Sean asked Angela a question, like Angela would just be like, I don't have to answer. It isn't there is no I don't know.
Yeah. I really want the host to be able to have the veto power to tell Angela to get off the stage. I want the host to be that where that he looks at producers or she looks at producers and she's like, can we get Angela off the stage? She's being disruptive. That's what we need. And I mean, I want it to be like Vanessa Lachey. I think Vanessa Lachey would be good at this just from watching her on Love is Blind. Who else do we think would be good at this? Who's kind
Tanisha
of
Thomas.
who?
Tanisha Thomas
Who's that?
from Batgirls Club.
I don't know who that is.
She was in originally one of like there's like a couple of original like Bad Girls clubs that like did other things. Like one's like Natalie Nunn, right? Like, she just and Natalie Nunn. But like Tanisha ended up hosting Bad Girls Club reunions and got really good at hosting. I think she's always been like, and I mean, Bad Girls Club reunions are like, but fucking nanas. I mean, those are like very trashy, like people are screaming at each other and throwing things, and it's just, I mean, it's a free for all. But she always had the energy of like, you're not gonna like throw a chair at her. That's Tanisha.
What about Tiffany Pollard, New York Pollard?
Listen,
Right?
yes, but I don't know if she's a great personality, but I don't know if she has.
Hosting abilities.
Yeah, like it's unfortunate that like Michelle Collins just wasn't able to stay with the franchise, and they weren't able to treat her the way that she should be treated because she's also great, although also an elegant journalist. So I mean, like, not she's not trashy. So, but I also feel like she's someone who would ask questions that I would like. But we used to see her do that kind of stuff, so they did have her do it. I don't know, anything.
I
I mean,
mean, I mean, on the episode that I was on, the host definitely was Michelle Collins. So I, remember that
yeah.
faithful day in 2018, July. I was in Chris's house, and my setup looked a lot alike Libby's setup. It was
Mhm.
great. I actually still have the camera. They never asked me for the equipment back. I tried to
Great.
give it back. I called. I emailed.
Okay.
They were like, "Oh, okay, shut me down."
They want you to. They want you to have it. They know you deserve it. So, at one point during this like exchange, um, like Ed starts kind of whatever. I hate talking about this person, but he starts like being mean to like Liz, and they're like talking about that or whatever. And Bilal, so Ed is like, chastising her, and Bilal's like, Ed, when you point a finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointing right back at you.
And that
And
was my mom told me that as a kid, and one Bilal, pot, kettle, black, go Chris.
yeah, I literally was like, oh my God, are you, this is first of all the Imam part of him that we've known. And the entire time I've known about that part of him, I'm like, does he own mirrors? Like, I just, I wonder if the man's ever seen himself, knows he exists. Like, I understand that he also, like, takes up space in this world and, like, has done things. Like, it's crazy to me to say that, like, he spends his life and has been called out specifically on being, like, dismissive, manipulative, will like turn things around, not able to look at himself, not aware of the way that he comes off, which is controlling and incredibly, like hard to deal with, and wants things his way. But he will throw that on everyone. And then in this moment also telling, I mean, truly a horrible person, which is Ed, that Ed shouldn't throw stones, which he shouldn't ever, because he is a stone. Like, why would he throw himself? But like Bilal, like, also, don't ever point a finger, don't even look at anyone's way ever. Like, you have to do so much inner work. Like, are you also, please, again, give your wife's a matching LV luggage set. Anyway, whatever. And then in this conversation, Ed also calls himself a socialite, and then I threw my phone at the TV. I was like, all right, Paris Hilton. All right, Stars Are Blind. All right, socialite. I mean, like, I can't. It's unfortunate that, like, he's even on the show. He shouldn't be on the show because he's not dating a foreign person. And the entire time I've hated watching this entire time, but God bless. Then there is one triumphant moment. Now, I want to say this. As I'm watching the tell-all, I'm watching with a friend, not Wah, who doesn't usually watch it. So I've been pausing and talking, and I've been trying to explain to her who Big Ed is and why he's on and how much I hate him and why I hate him and blah, 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 blah. And I brought up Rose, because of course Rose is the reason why he was on the show, which was when he was dating someone, ha ha ha, that would fit into the 90-day world, ha ha ha, because it's someone who doesn't live in America. Unlike Liz, why are they on the show? Anyway, so Rose. So, I don't give a shit about Liz and Ed. I don't even know why Liz would be with Ed, other than the fact that he's famous. There's no reason. She seems like a nice enough girl. She has no reason to, like, ruin her life. And so I think that she has to be nefarious in her wants and needs in this. I just can't imagine that it's for him. But having said all of that, we always have loved Rose. And they're like, guess fucking what? Guess who we got? Wah?
Before we get on to that, let's just go back to the fact that everyone on stage judges the fact that Liz and Ed have a unique living situation. Now, only reason why I want to bring this up, because I feel like I am always in very much support of the 90 Day Fiancé couples, especially if they seem real. Like, I want to support the foreigner. I want to support, like, whatever it is, how they're choosing to live their lives. Where I think it's funny or weird is when the 90 Day Fiancé casts get weird with other couples and their brand of love, right? Like, they got weird with Caesar when he talked about being in a polyamorous relationship or a kitchen sink, or like, not polyamorous, he wanted to be polygamous, right? Now, when Ed and Liz talk about them being engaged and not living together and sleeping like staying with each other every other night, every single couple on there just was like appalled. And I would like to stand up for the community of people who are in loving, long-lasting relationships because they do not live with their partners, because they recognize that while they get along and they love each other, that maybe living together is something that could break down their relationship. And because they're both independent people with their own minds, they have chosen to maybe not cohabitate. And I hated the fact that they made it seem like, in general, and I don't care about Liz and Ed, I'm talking about in general, that in general, any couple that wants to see each other every other day, or, don't live together, that somehow that's wrong and that's not real and that's not love and that's not a marriage. Marriage has nothing to do with whether or not you sleep in the same bed with somebody every single night. There are different forms of marriage. There are different ways that it works. And the traditional way, or the way that we all think is the right way, is never, anytime you think anything is the right way, you're wrong. You need to say, this is the way that I would do it. This is the way that feels most comfortable for me. But to make a sweeping statement that, oh, well, I mean, how do you guys even like each other? So what do you guys do? Like snickering. So you just like come over every other night. What's wrong with that?
I see what you're saying, but I think that Ed and Liz are fake. That's why I feel like,
And that's
and
fine. But what I'm saying is just like in general, I don't like that sentiment of them trying to say that somehow they're, if we weren't talking about Ed and Liz, we're talking about two regular people, that their love isn't valid because they don't live with each other. There are plenty of people who do long distance relationships who don't spend every night with each other. There are plenty of people who, I mean, it's just like sometimes you can't get over the way somebody lives. Like you're just like pick up your shit. And if living separately allows you guys to love each other and take care of each other and not be mad at each other, then like why is that bad? Okay. Anyways.
okay. So going back to what I wanted to really talk about is just then we get Rose! Yay! Rose! Oh, look at her, honey. Her tats, her blonde hair. She looks so good. Immediately, I'm like so happy. I like gasp. I had thrown my phone. Remember earlier on, I like grabbed my phone, was so excited to get it. Like, I love me, seeing a fresh face beauty. She has like, unfortunately been brought back into this because we have to like figure out whether Ed's been talking to her again or talking to other people, which is a horrible thing. But I will say that when we see Rose, she's incredibly gracious. She doesn't say hi to Ed first. She's like, hi, Liz. Liz is like, hi, Rose, whatever. Like, I liked that, like, then she's like, hi, Ed. And Ed is like, yeah, we talk. We're like, they're for some reason friendly, which we don't want that to have happen, like, but yeah, like, last I heard, Rose, I think was like dating, a transgender person. So I don't know if she's with someone or what the what her love life is, or why she would be talking to Ed, or why would be even thinking that that'd be a possibility at all. Like I can't imagine. So that was how this episode sort of ended, with previews of what's going to happen for the next 3 episodes of the 4-part tell-all. Now it's been absolutely a pleasure to break down not only the season but this tell-all part 1. It was a really fabulous, and I'm actually kind of excited by the new format, and I don't mind some of the produced tricks of it. Well, final thoughts?
I mean, I did think it was good. I am annoyed that it's 4 parts. Like it doesn't need to be. I just don't know. I mean, we're going to obviously get these scenes where they're, I guess, upstairs in the studios drinking at a fake bar, so they can control the noise and the lighting. And then we're going to get some other stuff where they're on the stage, which is going to be fine. I just want to see more of Kimberly and Usman fighting. I want to see Michael and Usman fighting because I feel like they're in the same hotel room. They have to be. Why would producers bring him to Lagos where Michael already lives and have them not be in the same space, if not the same hotel room, or one's in one room, one is the other room. So like we're gonna see that interaction.
Legos travel in, honey. That Legos travel in.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know. Even though Angela didn't stay there anymore, but I'll always have fond memories.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be good. I just don't think it needed to be 4. You know what I would have loved for it to be like 2, and then we get 2 weeks off, and then they start with Toe in February. But
they don't care about us.
Wishes are
all
not.
I gotta say is they don't really care about us.
Don't worry, people say we know the truth.
So having said that, thank you so much for listening. Also, God bless. We appreciate you. Give us 5 stars if you want, or do you, but you can also follow us on social media. We exist on many different platforms. That's fine. One platform, Instagram, exists. And if you've been there, try searching at DocuSweeties and pushing this button called the follow button. Also liking, I don't know, every one of our posts if you want. I don't know, you do you. But also we exist on Twitter, which is something Elon Musk owns now, at DocuSweeties1, and TikTok, which the Chinese people own, God bless, and that's also DocuSweeties1. We don't post there much. Anyway, if you want to get a lot of us, including seeing our faces, which is a word that I made up that means faces, how?
You could do so with patreon.com/DocuSweeties. It's $10 a month. You get to the moment that we are done with this, Chris is going to upload this to Patreon. So our Patreon folks are going to get it at 8 p.m. Central Time on Sunday before the tell-all is even bloody finished airing. So it's like just ready to go. And then I'm going to edit the audio of this and post it up on Anchor and the rest of the places. But if you want to get it right away, and you want to get exclusive content that we're going to somehow create in this year, patreon.com/docusweeties. It's a good time.
Yeah, and also a live will be happening tomorrow as it's the first Monday of the month, which is another Patreon exclusive. So it'll be it'll be January 2nd.
Wow, she hates this year already.
I know. It'll be January 2nd of my God this year, which is 2023, Monday. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. And, we'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Dun, 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 dun.